Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. Welcome to some MX Bikes. The track that we are going to be playing today is a new release created by Punker Jeffy called the OA. What the OA stands for, I have no idea. I'm just going to guess it means Oasis, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Based in a little oasis in the middle of a desert, this track was originally created on MX vs ATV Reflex by Punker Jeffy. However, he has taken it, basically gutted it, well, not really started from scratch, but he's made a bunch of changes to it to make it work well with the MX Bikes physics. There's a lot of games where you can't really just copy and paste from one to the other and it works well. But this track looks incredible. It has been a fan favorite on the streams that I've been doing recently. People have been asking for it time and time again. And I only just found out today, whilst recording this, that Punker Jeffy is also the same person that created the Cairo GP recently as well. So not only has he had an incredible work rate recently with turning tracks around, but they have also been absolutely incredible and fan favourites. The general community seems to be really enjoying them, asking me to play them tracks really often. So it seems like he's got a little bit of a knack for this sort of thing, and I hope that we can keep him around for a while to come. This track is not the most difficult track in the world. It is available for all skill levels, and I see that as a good thing. So you can just ride around the track, whatever speed you are. But then also, if you are of a slightly higher level, you can push the limits. There is at least 2 lines in every single corner if you want to have some battles with your friends. And there's multiple viable lines as well, where you can go outside, go inside, and kind of come out around the same speed. And the track flows really nicely. It's got a couple of really smooth, flowy jumps in there, and just really fun track all around. So thank you very much, Mr. Jeffy, for giving this to us. And then thank you also to the rest of you for watching. I hope you enjoy this video, and with the power of editing, I will see you in 1 second. One thing that I really enjoy about this track is where you spawn. So it's like you spawn on top of the finish line jump here, everyone does. But if there's people in the pits and their bikes in the pits, you jump over them anyway, so it doesn't cause any issues. But it's like you get straight into the action, like straight away. There's no trying to find where the finish line is to try and start laps or whatever. Although I wouldn't consider this track really one that people would sit there grinding for hot laps anyway. This is much more like a hop on for a fun rip around with your friends, get a little bit steezy over a couple of the big jumps, and just try and have a good time. And I just want to say to Mr. Jeffy, I don't know what he's been having for breakfast in the morning, but again, last 2 track releases, he has been absolutely popping off. I time and time again on streams get asked to play these 2 tracks now, and it's just insane. This one is incredible. What I will say, which seems to be a common theme across a lot of tracks at the moment, is they're not getting updated to the server list or the Deddy list. And I believe there was issues going on with updating stuff, but you can go through like the last 2 weeks worth of tracks that have been released on MXB mods, really, and there's just nothing on there. So maybe I might have to play the hero at some point and see if I can look into that whole system and see if I can upload some server versions, because they are very good fun. But at the moment, we're kind of being hindered. We're being a little bit limited to just hosting your own world through MX Bikes in general. Love this jump right here. Try and do an oppo to the best of my ability. I'm aware my oppos aren't the fanciest looking in the world. If you are wondering, Linda, where on earth have you got this Honda model from, 2025 Honda, it is all part of Dashpack's recent MXB mods post with a whole bunch of model swaps in there. So this is made for the Honda. I've not tried it on other bikes yet to see how it all lines up, to see how it looks in game. So maybe you could get away with riding it on some other bikes. Maybe the hands might be off the bars ever so slightly though. But look at this. This lines up absolutely perfectly. Like, my hands are on. My hands are glued to those bars.
Firmly grasp it.
And I think it looks really good. I wish the Honda was better. Myself and Aiden tried a couple of different bikes during the whole donator-thon. We tried the Kawi out, we tried the Honda out, and they're so bad. I'm sure with a hell of a lot of tweaking and messing around with suspensions and geometry, etc., you can make them better / more bearable. However, you have to understand that me and Aiden look at these bikes from a racing competitive perspective rather than like a casual one, where you just hop on and play the game, bit of online racing, have a bit of fun with your friends. By all means, I feel like they're great for that. They're great for a laugh, messing about, having a bit of fun, getting a bit steezy, trying to take your buddies out, going back and forth, which this track is also very good for. But no, we're looking for every 10th of a second we can get So that's why you see a lot of Top Boys, they kind of defer to the usual KTM, Husky, Gas, Yamaha as well has been a really good one recently. And I was having a little play around in the sand after yesterday's video on TC's The Private track, and I think I might be changing bike for Southwick, just as a one-off, not a full-time thing. So you guys know that I've been really enjoying the Gas this year. The Gas for me, it almost comes across more as like a smooth, steady, like just, we'll take it as like a diesel approach, you know? The Ryan Dungey bike, even though Dungey was most known for riding the KTM anyway, but I tried it around, what track was it? It was the GP of the Netherlands, and it felt okay after I tweaked the suspension a bit, but it still felt fairly slow. Now, that could be placebo because of how the engine sounds. I feel like the engine on the Gas always feels like it's bogging no matter what gear you're in. But I switched over to the KTM just for a laugh, and I found a setup randomly that I think Charlie sent me at some point, and it actually felt quite nice. Like, it felt really good, felt fast in the rough stuff as well, and I don't think Southwick's going to be anywhere near as rough as the GP of the Netherlands was. So I'm quite confident in it. The KTM there's something about it that it just feels so much quicker than every other 450 out there. And I mean, it's what all of the fastest boys run anyway, minus Finn. He rides the Husky, but I've tried the Husky outdoors so many times and I can't get my head around it. So you may be seeing a KTM appearance from Linda. Doesn't happen very often, but there is a high chance that it happens at Southwick, just for a one and done. You know, I'm well aware that on a KTM, I feel like I'm faster, but that does lead for the consistency to kind of fail me. We'll see how it goes. It's just one round anyway. I'm not in the points lead anymore. I'm something like 8 to 10-ish points back behind Hakon, but it is tightening up at the top, you know. Finn's very, very close even after missing around. Tyler's only a couple of points behind Hakon as well, and then I'm a couple more points behind him. So it's been a really good, close season so far, and I didn't expect it to be as close as it has been. But again, thank you, Mr. Finn, for missing around and letting us all have a little bit more of a chance to actually do well and get some wins ourselves. So let's talk about this track a little bit, and let's talk about Mr. Punker Jeffy. So he released... Well, his first track release I did do a video on, which isn't one that I see too many people talking about, but his second release, the release that was just before this one, was the Cairo GP. Now, Cairo and this track, they have some similar qualities, mostly in the texturing and such. I like how subtle the texturing is around here specifically, because, you know, it's not really overdone with super intense deep norms or really, really detailed sand textures. But it's enough to know exactly where you are and what you're riding on. I like the more like whitish nature of the sand rather than like a yellowy, orangey kind of sand here, which does fit into that whole, you know, bright oasis theme, which I really enjoy. But in terms of where the track's been ridden on, there's no like super deep rutted lines, you know, norms for deep ruts and textures in that regard. It just looks like it's been slightly ridden on by people, maybe even groomed. Like, it looks like there's been a digger or tractor gone round and just groomed the whole track. And then in the middle, the bits that were most ridden on, he's just gone for a slightly darker texture there. So you know where you're going. It makes your eyes follow where the track goes. So even on lap 1 or 2 of this track, you get a good idea of where you should be on the course at all times. This jump, oh, I just love it every time I hit it. It's so good for getting steezy off of. And then I also like, he's done a really, really good job. If you play this track yourself and you have a look around the outskirts of the map, he's done a... Oh, God, there's just Honda things. He's done a very good job of hiding the edges of the map. So we've almost got like rolling sandy hills / dunes everywhere. But then outside, he's got the skybox matches absolutely perfectly color-wise to the rest of the environment. So you almost can't... It's almost seamless in a way. So it feels like you are in this desert in the middle of an oasis, and the map just goes on for miles. You can see out in the distance there how big everything is out in the distance. He's done a very, very good job at that. And Cairo as well has very similar sorts of texturing job where there's a darker bit in the middle, and it seems to be a bit of a crowd pleaser at the moment, a little bit of a fan favorite. Because again, Cairo gets asked to be played so many times. I really enjoy playing it as well. As a sand enjoyer, it's not like super rough whipped out like you'd expect a GP track to be. It's almost like it's beginning of the day where the track is only just getting dug in. But I think that opens it up to a lot more skill levels of riders. You haven't got to be amazing at the game to play it. You can get around the track just fine. Then if you are someone who has a disgusting amount of hours, 130 hours in 2 weeks, by the way, because of that damn live stream, that is disgusting, then you can move about on the track a bit and just experiment with your lines, try and find the smooth stuff, see what works, what doesn't work. And I've had some very intense battles around there, some very fun battles as well. So you can switch back and forth and try and cut underneath each other, or you just battle for every little bit of speed that you've got, trying to keep that back wheel planted on the ground and keep the bike moving forwards. Really, really good job. And same with here. I absolutely love it. It looks beautiful. I like that he's not gone over the top with the whole Oasis thing. He's kind of got this middle part of the track that is surrounded by the water and the greenery and camels as well. Camels will come to the watering hole to get their slurp on. But I like that it's not too in your face. It's subtle, and I think he's just done a really, really good job all around. I'm going to have to load up Reflex at some point and try and give it a go over there, because he said this track was originally on Reflex and he's adapted it and changed it to suit MX Bike's physics better. And I did see someone, the first time I played this track, which was on stream when we was racing together, I did see someone say, isn't this track on Reflex? So there's obviously a little community there that know Punker Jeffy from that side of things, and it's cool seeing people cross over from one game to another, and the fact that he's still creating across both. I mean, I don't know if that's true, by the way, but if he's made it on Reflex in the past and now he's making it on here, he's obviously made it on. He's making stuff for both games in some respect. I love seeing different people from different gaming communities coming over and give MX Bikes a shot, and I feel like we are very, very blessed because he's made 2 absolute bangers in a row. His first track was good, I just don't see it like server-wise for the most part, and that's really, I feel like that's the best way of getting success from a track these days, is seeing how much people want to play it in general online servers. And again, I feel like this one would be on there a lot if it was on the dedicated server list at the moment. But yeah, hopefully that'll come in the future. I imagine Cairo will be on there a hell of a lot as well. That is on the server list, I believe, at the moment. We've been able to play that through my Dedi server, and there's so many requests for it. It's been insane. In terms of difficulty, the track really isn't hard at all. I think anybody of any skill level would be able to get around this track in some aspect. I think I could even put the controller into Linda's hands and she'd be absolutely okay just getting around it at a slow pace. But then if you can try and really push it as well. There's some corners where there is a limit to it. There's like 180 bowl turns that you can get only so far cranked over before that back end will come around on you at. But I was having a battle with Aiden around here at one point, and it's always really fun racing against people that also know how to race, because then it shows how good a track is at having alternate lines, and people intentionally will not try and go for the fastest line every single lap, even if you're in it, and push you out of the way. They will experiment and they'll go outside, inside, try and take something a bit different, try and cut underneath you, try and rail around the outside of you, and that is what makes for the best racing, in my opinion. Track is very, very fast. You can tell it's not that hard because I haven't crashed that many times. We'll put an asterisk above that on the Honda. I really don't like this bike, by the way. If you are a fan of the Honda 450, then by all means you knock yourselves out, boys. I just cannot understand how a bike feels like such a tank when turning, but then at the same time feels like it has such a short swing arm that as soon as you get on the gas, it wants to backflip. I can't get out the gate on this thing, no matter what gear I start in, no matter how far I lean forwards, this thing will always wheelie. So, I mean, it's got power, it's just that the geometry of it just feels a little bit odd. It does sadden me a bit, because I was looking back through like old thumbnails and stuff, and I came across the screenshot I took when I made last year's Honda setup video, when I really, really enjoyed the Honda, and it was my weapon of choice for the GPs, and started actually doing well and winning a couple races as soon as I switched to it. And yeah, they've gutted my girl. What have they done to me? They've ruined her for me. But there's always going to be changing metas, you know, at some point. And we did actually find there was a couple of bikes are, you know, just fundamentally broken recently, which I wouldn't have found out unless I was trying to have more fun on the game and experimenting with different machines. So if you try the Alta, which is the, I guess, the baby of the Varg these days, it's not as powerful as the Varg, it's just kind of, it's a bike that doesn't get used very often. If you try the Alta, and let's say you put it on a Supercross track, I haven't tried it in many others, but I tried it on one of my Arena Cross tracks. If you rail a bowl turn, and then hit a face of a jump that, let's say you want to quad it, so you're hitting the face of this jump quite fast, the rear end of the bike will just quite simply explode on you and send you 100 feet flying in the air doing God knows how many 360s. It was very replicatable. It happened many, many times. I might see if I can try and throw it up on screen right now for you so you can see what happened.
No one's going anywhere. I'm on open mapping. Yeah. I need that alpha signal mode.
What the f? And then the other bike we found that was a little bit boofed was the Yamaha 250 two-stroke. Again, the back end, it's weird on it. It doesn't explode you, but it's like it will collapse on you all of a sudden, and you'll have to respawn to fix the problem. It's like the back wheel will get locked inside the bike. And I noticed when I just jump that bike normally, the back wheel almost, it just falls out underneath the rest of the bike. There's so much, what would you call it? I don't know if travel's the right word, but there's so much like sag, if that makes sense. Like the gap between the rear fender and the tire, instead of just being like this, it'll just fully collapse under itself. So yeah, very, very odd, but we did find some interesting things that hopefully then can be worked on for future updates as well. In terms of updates, I have no idea what we're looking like OEM wise, boys. I generally would probably say nothing until next year at this rate. Yeah, I don't know. We're just, I say we're, I'm not part of the OEM team anymore, but we as a community at the moment are waiting on Paboso to update his game to a level where the OEM team can then continue their work and get the best results out of the bikes possible. So yeah, we will sit here very patiently, probably for another few months until those updates come our way. All we can do is sit tight, look pretty well doing it, and just wait, take our time, and eventually, very eventually, after a very, very, very long time, even though it's been broken for months already, the game will get an update. So we'll see. We'll cross our fingers. We'll cross our toes, maybe. Maybe we'll even cross what remaining hair we have left. So to Mr. Punker Jeffy, I would like to thank you for being part of this community. You have been releasing incredible tracks for us, and I cannot wait to see what fun little projects you have up next. And to all of you watching this video, let me know your thoughts on this track. Again, I feel like I know what the general consensus is going to be. A lot of you seem to really, really enjoy this. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts down below. And is there any particular, let's say, themed tracks that you think don't get enough love in the game that you'd like to see more of? Because we do get desert tracks from time to time, but you don't get as much of an oasis like this, where it is just more picturesque and breathtaking rather than just slapping some rollers in the middle of a desert. He's done a really, really good job here. Thank you to all of you for watching as well. If you enjoyed, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's very much appreciated. And have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Lynn's in the zone, never backing down. Riding MX bikes, he's the talk of the town. 2022 champ with a YouTube crown. His game is tight, no signs of slowing down. Late nights, bright lights, he's chasing that fame in the digital arena. Writing his name, she's a 10 out of 10. Supporting his lane, hairline might receive, but his passion's the same.